Good morning and welcome to Sky Blast. My name is Elegant. Today on Single and Searching, which is the program, we'll be looking at signs of toxic relationship and how you can actually fix them if possible. Now we'll start with defining toxic relationship. To my own understanding, a toxic relationship is a relationship where you feel not supported, where you feel looked down, where you feel sad all the time, lack of communication, lack of commitment, so many of those awful feelings that you get from your partner. You don't feel that you're in a relationship with someone. You actually feel like you are forcing yourself on someone. That is, to my understanding, what a toxic relationship is about. Now, in order for you to avoid a toxic relationship, you should start by avoiding a toxic person. Do you understand? You cannot recognize that a person is toxic and then you go into a relationship with them expecting not to have a toxic relationship. Even though sometimes we allow our emotions to, take control of our sense of reasoning. All the signs might be out there, but we always tell ourselves that, we want to make excuses for the people that we care about. And then we land ourselves in a relationship that is absolutely unhealthy for us. Now, to recognize a person who is toxic, it's very easy because it reflects, on their personality, reflects on their character. It's written all over them. It's everywhere they go there with it. They can't hide it. You can hear it from their conversation. You can see it from in their attitude. You can perceive it at every point in time. If you're someone who is actually very observant. A person who is toxic always talks bad or talks down on other people. They always disagree with other people's point of view. They never take responsibility of their mistakes or failures in life. They always find someone in their past or present to blame for one thing or the other. They're not blaming their mothers, they're blaming their fathers, uncle, sister, co-worker. They always find someone somewhere to blame for something that has not worked out well in their lives. They never take responsibility of anything whatsoever. So when you come across a person who is constantly blaming people for one thing or the other that happened to their lives, then mind you, that person is very, very toxified, and you should avoid such individuals if you can. Because this thing called emotion, it has a way of taking away your common sense and, leaving you with your illusions and your imaginations. Alright? Now, apart from these aspects that we have mentioned the fact that they always blame people for their failures. We have mentioned the fact that they always talk down on people. There's another aspect to it. A toxic person is that person who hardly lives, they can't afford to express themselves the way you expect them to do. You are always the one putting out yourself there for them. You're always the one who is verbally expressive. But on the other side, no, they don't do that. They always want to take from what you have said in order for them to gain or to present a beautiful answer for you. That's an answer that you are willing to, take in, or you are willing to accept. A toxic person will never come out and tell you that my ex, or tell you that this was what happened in their past relationship as regards to them being at fault. No, they want to hear what happened in your own relationship in order to know where or how they fit into the picture if there's a possibility of you having something to do with them. Okay? A toxic person will always want you to be around where they want you to be around. They don't want you going elsewhere apart from that window that they have opened for you. There are so many, if we start to talk, we can't, talking about the characteristic of a toxic person might actually take the whole time on this program, but would like to stick to this very points that we have made in order for us to stay within the windows of the time that we have for this program. Now, is it possible to actually fix a toxic relationship? Is there a possibility in fixing a toxic relationship? Well, there is lots of possibility, but this can only happen in one or two relationships that are, toxified. But before we go into that, I'd like to make us understand that when you are in a toxic relationship, if you allow yourself to, be a victim of a toxic relationship, these are majorly what might happen to you. You will lose your sense of personality. That is what a toxic person does to you, because they will talk you down. They will not support your dreams, your ideas. They will not accept your opinion. They will leave you to start thinking whether there is something wrong with you. Okay? At a point you start thinking, am I okay? Is there something wrong with me? Am I the one with the problem? Am I good? Am I actually good for something? There's this common thing African women will always say, you're good for nothing. That's when your mom is angry at you, they tell them you're good for nothing. So when you are involved with a toxic man or a toxic woman, they put you in that place that makes you believe that you are good for nothing. You lose your sense of personality, like I've mentioned. You start questioning your ability to actually achieve things, to do things for yourself and for the people around you. You lose focus of what your target and goals should be, because you are always busy trying to make them happy. You're always busy trying to look for them. You're trying to build your world around them. You want to bring them to where, or to the point where you are. You believe that you should have a good relationship with them. You are the one that is always giving. You are the one that is always willing to forgive, willing to give chance for a fresh start. You invest all your energy, all your communication skill trying to get across to them while they are busy building a very tall wall to put you behind, to put you permanently at where they want you to be. A toxic person will take all your energy, build himself or herself for another partner. That's the most annoying part of it. We have heard stories of someone or people who say, I was in a relationship with this person, I sacrificed, I did this, I did that, I spent on her, I spent on him, I went, I stayed away from my family because of him, because of her. At the end of the day, this person leaves you, moves on to another person. Sometimes when you are in a toxic relationship with a person, you actually happen to be the lecturer, the tutor in that relationship. They take away that energy, they take away that knowledge that you so much want to impart on them in order for them to give you in return what you truly deserve. They take all that away and move to their next relationship. So you find a lot of people crying that the person they invested on emotionally, financially, their time and everything has left them and moved on to another person. And the one thing that you asked of them, that one thing that they could not give to you, they are willingly giving to the other person. Do you understand? So when you are in a relationship as that, like that, it's important to know when to leave. It's important to know when to start looking for yourself. because you will lose yourself trying to please them and you will never be appreciated. Okay, so now let's go forward to if there is a possibility of fixing a toxic relationship or a toxic marriage. When a relationship is toxic, a lot of people will tell you there is no lights at the end of the tunnel. You have to put it off, you have to kick the person out of your life and all that, which of course should be what a reasonable person wants to do. But before you decide on doing that, you need to clarify if this person that you are with was like this from the beginning. The person that you are with, was this person like this from the beginning? Did something happen that moved this person to this very state that he or she is? You need to ask questions. You need to ask friends, you need to ask family, people around him or her. Who is this person before I met him? Who was he? What was the character before I came into the picture? If they go ahead to tell you that this is exactly who this person was before you came into his life, then I would advise that you move without looking back. But if there's a slight chance that something has happened, something transpired, either within the windows of your relationship or before the window of your relationship, maybe something transpired, maybe they had an ugly relationship before you, then there's a possibility that that person might change. Okay? So, if you are in a toxic relationship with a person, before you move out of that relationship, try to find out if the person was this way before you came in. If the person was this way before you came in, then I would say move, just like I said earlier. If the person is not that way, then you have a chance of changing things, if the person is willing to change things. Because some people want to remain in their past. Some people, when something happens to them and they find it difficult to leave that cycle. They find it difficult to leave that moment that has, changed something in their life. They want to dwell in there. If a person is adamant in dwelling in a situation that has not brought in light in their lives, then it's okay for you to move on. Because somebody cannot be dragging you back in dark when you are ready to move into light. You cannot afford to live a life of bitterness when you have the chance or the possibility of having a better life. Because at some point, you will become sad. At some point, you will become bitter. Okay? And when two people in a relationship become bitter at each other, it does not end well. It moves from verbal abuse it moves from emotional abuse to verbal abuse. From verbal abuse, it becomes physical. And, a lot of ugly things can happen. So let's just move forward. Now, are there chances to fixing a toxic relationship? There are, depending on who the person was before you came into the picture. Let's look at the steps as to fixing your toxic relationship. The first one is acceptance of responsibility. If you are in a toxic relationship with a person, if you are in a relationship with a person, and this person is willing to accept their responsibilities as to what has gone wrong in the past, as to who is wrong, what went wrong, whose fault it was, and then tender some sort of apology, then there is a chance that that relationship can be saved. A person who is willing to accept their relationship is a person who is willing to accept their faults is a person who is willing to work for the sustainability of that relationship. Another one is he or she always shifting blames to you? Okay? Now, when we talk about acceptance of responsibility, we connect it to avoid shifting of blames. It still boils down to the same thing. In the sense that if I accept the fact that I did something wrong, I would not want to shift the blame to you. There will be no need for me shifting that blame to you. Because I clearly understand that we are where we are because I had done or said something wrong. And as such, should find means to correcting them. If you are around such a person that falls under this category that we have mentioned, then of course you should give them a second chance. The other one is the willingness to invest. The willingness to invest. When we talk about investing in a relationship, it is so broad. You talk about commitment, you talk about communication, you talk about support. Okay? You cannot be in a relationship with someone who is not willing to commit to you as you are willing to commit to them. When you talk about commitment, you're talking about time, we're talking about financial support, we're talking about moral support, we're talking about energy. So if you are in a relationship with someone who is not willing to commit, who is not willing to invest in all these areas, then you should not be in a relationship with that person at all. Because a person who is willing to invest in your time, who is willing to invest in your family, yes, a person who wants to meet your family, who wants to be around your family, who is interested in what is going on in your family. That is the willingness to invest. We're not talking about financial investments here. We're talking about communication. We're talking about support. We're talking about a lot of things that has to do with, your person, your personal interest. Is he or she interested in your personal interest, just as you are interested in their own interest? Do you want to go to school? Is she supporting you? Is he supporting you? Do you want to change your location? Do you want to upgrade your business? You're willing to do you want to is he or she interested in communicating with you as to what has happened during the day, as to their plans for the week, for the month, where they are going to, who they are going with? When you are down, are they willing to listen to you, talk with you? That is what we mean by willingness to invest. So if your partner is that partner that accepts their responsibility, that partner that does not shift blames on you when they are wrong, that partner that is always investing, or at least will accept to invest at some point, then you should, give that person a second chance. Another one is, this part is something that a lot of people do not agree with, but I tell you that if you have a partner who is open to outside help, then you have a partner who is actually willing to make things work, not just for him or her, but for the both of you. We often hear people say things like, I don't want a third party. I don't want a third party in my relationship. I don't want a third party in my marriage. The moment you remove that third party policy, the moment you put in that third party policy in your marriage, in your relationship, you have automatically built a cycle of, how do I put it? You have made yourselves prisoners of each other's wrongs. Because you have no other person to talk to. I'm not saying go and tell everybody on the street what is going on in your relationship, no. At least you should have one or two persons that you can confide in, that that loves the fact that both of you are together, that can actually sit the both of you down and, share in their own wealth of experience with you. So you can see that things does not have to actually be done just on your own side of point of view. You can actually change things a little, you can adjust, you can be flexible. But when you say that you don't have to share, you don't have to tell anybody what is happening in your relationship, you have made a well of wrongs for yourselves. because all you do is accumulate your own dirt after dirt. That is all you do. Okay, very well then. My name is Elegant, and this is Single and Searching, coming to you from Sky Blast TV. Thanks for watching.